why don't you start us off with the most obvious one?
All right. Yeah, that's true. All of these probably have just like an obviously really good one, but we're going to talk about Teferi's Protection. That's 2 and a white instant. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything, and all permanents you control phase out, and then you got to exile it, which is the only drawback to this card.
Yeah,
is that you can't loop it turn and turn and turn.
Yeah, it's the best card of the whole thing we're probably talking about. Besides when we get to a different color here. So with white, this is by far the best card to protect your stuff. Not only is it making your stuff phase out, but then it's also giving you protection. So some of these we're going to get to, they phase your stuff out. Well, then you're open for getting killed. So if that is the case, you're kind of screwed there. But yeah, so Teferi's Protection, we don't need to break that down much.
It's good.
If by the way, if there are ones that we miss here or that you guys like more, please put it in the comments,
the chat.
Yeah, so we can see what you guys have there. So next, I think this is one of my favorites, but it's Akroma's Will, because the thing about Akroma's Will is that not only is it used as a protection, but this is a lot of times a game winner. You know, most of the time I'm using it as a game winner, but I'd say probably 30% of the time I use this as my protection as well. So what it is if you don't know what it is, it's 3 colorless and a white for an instant speed. Choose one. If you control your commander, you get to use both. But the first mode is creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until end of turn. The other side of it is creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until end of turn. So even if you don't have your commander out, you're choosing the one that protects your stuff. You're getting indestructibility and protection from all, which is in a way like hexproof in a way, kind of. So this is just, I love this card.
I mean, it makes it unblockable.
Right. I love this card for that fact too.
It does so much. Yeah. It's aggressive. It's defensive. It's allowing your creatures to win in combat. It's allowing them to not die on so many different levels other than, it's an incredibly good card for a reason. And it just does so much, especially if your commander's in play.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go with. I need to see what. Yeah, Flawless Maneuver. And so we're gonna get a couple of these ones. But if your commander's in play, you get to cast it for free. And creatures you can control gain indestructible until end of turn. Free indestructibility for all of your creatures. That's basically what you are. And even 2 and a white is very fairly costed. Yeah. And so that's right on par with like commons and uncommons with what they got going on.
Yeah, there's other ones that do the same thing, but the free part is nice. Yeah,
so good. Yeah. And just being able to be tapped out and protect your stuff.
Yeah, perfect. All right, then the next one. This is a newer one that I just recently didn't even know that this one existed, but because it was in which commander deck? Phyrexia. That's why. So Clever Concealment. The nice thing about this is it has the convoke part, but it's 2 and 2 white, instant convoke, so you can tap your creatures to bring that mana cost down. And then it says any number of target non-land permanents. That part is fantastic with this, because it's not only protecting your creatures, you can protect your permanents that aren't land, obviously. But any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. So you're kind of doing a picky and choosy Teferi's Protection, where you can choose what things you want to pop off. Maybe they're targeting one thing of yours or a couple things. You phase them out, but you get to leave back some of your blockers, so you're not just getting bent over. So you know what I mean. So not much more on that one. I just the convoke is really nice.
And yeah, that possibility of also being free from mana, it allows you to still progress your board. And if you played out a bunch of tokens, you can just tap them.
Yep.
And they're all still alive. And that's the great thing about phasing as well, is that you get to keep around your tokens.
Yeah.
And I
was gonna say the other thing is like whatever they're targeting, it doesn't matter about that being untapped or tapped. You can tap that as part of your mana. If you're worried about tapping your stuff down, well, you phase the things out that you're tapping anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Next one we want to talk about is Galadriel's Dismissal. And so this is 1 white instant. You get to phase out any one creature, or you can kick it for 2 and a white, and then you're giving target players all of their creatures phasing. So it could be yours.
Yep.
And it could be an opponent's.
Yeah.
Now that's that great thing is being able to protect your own creatures. They don't come back until your upkeep, right? But those dual uses of what's going on is you save yourself from a wrath, or you can block and phase your stuff out without them dying, or you can just phase out your opponent's creatures and then all out attack through them.
In for the
like
win.
All of those different uses make this card really, really good.
And the one drop of if they're only targeting one thing,
yep,
you can just pop the one and just phase your one thing out. You know, that's protecting the if somebody's using a path or something like that. So there's so many different uses for this card. Everybody Lives is from the Doctor Who. So this is, if you don't know what it is, it's probably because you didn't get the Doctor Who stuff, but it's 1 colorless, 1 white instant. This one we liked when that set came out. I think we talked about it on the cast here. But all creatures gain hexproof. So everybody's, your other opponents and everything as well. They gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Players can't gain hexproof until end of turn. Players can't lose life this turn. Players can't lose the game or win the game this turn. So basically it's like that Craterhoof Behemoth players all out attacking, killing everybody. And you're like, hey, everybody, I just saved you. And let's kill this player afterwards. So it for 2 mana, you save the table. This is more of a group hug type one, I guess, because you are saving everybody. You can politic that maybe. Maybe you're like, well, I won't die here, but if I play a card that saves you guys, can you guys help me kill that person? So you could probably do that, or just save your ass is the other thing. So
it's just doing a whole ton of nothing.
Yeah,
it's like. Life can't change. I mean, it's Furious Protection, but kind of for everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your stuff is still around. It's still going to be affected the next turn. But right now, creatures live. People live. Nothing's going to happen. And so it is a great, probably the best fog.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, because, for 2, I'd definitely take that over fog. So, yeah, this is a good one if you don't have it from Doctor Who. Again, this one's it's over 20, 15, 22, 25. So yeah, you're not getting the surge foils, but yeah, it's pushing $20 card here. So this is one you want to get, especially since this is a limited set release. I'm guessing they might bring this one back though into other sets, because this seems like a signature Commander card, doesn't it? I mean,
it could be.
It feels like that.
Could be.
All right, and then the last one for white.
Yes. So we've talked about phasing. We've talked about indestructible and a bit of hexproof, but right now we're going to talk about blink as well. So Eerie Interlude at 2 and a white instant, exile all any number of target creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. And so this also allows you to target what you are exiling and not. It also, the bummer part is it does not help your tokens. But it allows you to blink creatures, and those ETB effects are really, really nice because you're just going to randomly be having ETBs in your deck anyway. It it survives wraths. It gets rid of, somebody's trying to spot remove. You're like, well, I'll get extra value with these other creatures, but still have these others back to block if needed. It's very versatile. I have this in at least 2 decks, I believe, but definitely Feather because I'm targeting creatures and I can just get it back and always do it. I just really, really love this card.
A good card. So okay, so that is our white. If you guys have some other suggestions besides the Circle of Protections and the wards and the runes,
right. Nobody said Grand Crescendo, sadly. That's one of my favorites that didn't make the list.
That is a good one, but that one is the indestructible, right? Yeah,
indestructible and tokens and
make
stuff
tokens
like
in
that.
it. Yep. So there's quite a few. We did have a lot on the list, but we'd like to see if there were other ones that you guys like to use. So make sure you guys put that in the comments. If you want to see other colors or the entire episode, make sure to click the links. And the best way to support us is to destroy that like button and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. See ya. Suck up.